Hello there, welcome back to our part 4 and final part of the castle painting masterclass. I hope you guys have been enjoying this course so far, where we have taken you guys through the process of drawing complex shapes to different periodic architectural style, as well as looking at lighting and shading, and a bunch of inspirations in terms of how you can approach your subject and create unique compositions. So today we're going to take all we have learned and apply it to a painting of the Liechtenstein castle from the beginning to end. And we're going to take you guys through the process of not only executing the painting, but actually doing the prep work, sketching it up, try to figure out the balanced tonal range, as well as doing a study piece to get familiarized with the painting process. Okay, without further ado, let's go straight in. Yeah, so one of the effective ways to depict castle and their grandeur is to include the surroundings. And in this case, we're going to demonstrate how we're going to take a photo like that. It has some distractions in the foreground because oftentimes when you take photos, you can't, incorporate the subjects in a way that you would like. So how to take that and kind of make some modifications. This photo we're looking at, it is an overcast day. I really wish it was a sunny day, but no worries, we can actually turn that into a sunny scene. So I did some other research and found out from other photos that the sun actually can come in from kind of the front of this triangle surface, right, of the main building, and therefore it can create shadows to this right hand side of the surface. I thought that's great because then we can translate that to all the landscapes behind it, as well as adding some casted shadows, maybe casted by these towers in front of it. First, we're gonna do like a thumbnail sketch. So the thumbnail helps in terms of where we want to position the object and roughly where they are in terms of the composition, but also like what are the rough kind of tonal ranges that will appear on this painting. So the town actually stretched into the distance in this area. I probably want to bring it closer and make it bigger. I want to eliminate, these like foreground because I think, you already have like 1, 2, 3 layers of like distance. So it's not necessary to have more foreground there. And of course, I think roughly I want to keep the castle in this range. Maybe show a bit more of this bridge. This bridge is really a beautiful bridge. It's like a suspension bridge. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, roughly I think the castle will be somewhere here. So this towers is interesting. It's actually 4 towers connected with the bridge coming out. I think the road maybe needs to go straighter. There's some other buildings behind it, but I think I may have to abstract that to not draw too much attention. There will be some trees and foliages on this side. I think it will look nice if we add that. Okay, so I feel like maybe it needs another hill or something like that, or can make this bump a little bit bigger. So yeah, in terms of tonal range, then I think we will work with the sunlit surface on this surface, and so are on the side of the castle, towers. This tower probably casts a pretty large shadow onto this rock surface and this building behind it. A smaller tower over here. And this main tower will probably be very bright if it's a sunny day. So the shadow surface will be on the right hand side. This bridge will probably create a shadow as well, actually, not thinking about it. So probably want to do something like that. These buildings will all be in shadow because they're kind of backlit. They're at this surface. They're at the facing the side, right? So the foliage, do we want the foliage? That's the thing. So these hills will have mostly sunlit. Maybe towards the valley, the sun is not gonna reach. So like in between these hills, there will be some kind of shadows. And also just to create a bit of separation between this hill and the distant hill. And that's what can help us creating the depth. The thing about these foliage is like foliage is mostly already mid-tone to start with. So then the shaded part of the foliage will actually be more of a darker tone. So this road is important to convey. And these hills will probably have some shadow, just casted by the hill across from it. The towns, because this primarily seems like light colored buildings, and they're going to be actually more lit. So we're gonna preserve this area to be bright light tone. And then as we get to the distance, even though these are mid-tone, but the intensity will decrease, right? And very faint. Can kind of blend into the horizon. And in terms of the clouds, I'm thinking maybe if we were to do this in a sunny day, maybe it's just easier to have very flat wash with a little bit of like streaked clouds. So now let's actually paint a study piece of this using just black and white for it. And once we get comfortable with the shapes we're creating, right, on the smaller scale, then it will be way easier to translate that into a bigger composition. So I'm just guiding you through how we can do this step by step.
So you may ask, what is the purpose exactly for doing a thumbnail sketch and a black and white study piece? And are they different? So I would say they both help you get an accurate idea on the tonal range as well as the composition itself to make sure it's all balanced and looks like an interesting composition before you paint it in full color and a larger size. Thumbnail is definitely quicker to do than black and white study piece. However, what black and white study piece also does that the thumbnail sketch can't is that it really simulates the exact painting process of the final piece you're going to do as well. I used to work for a company specializing in machining for CNC machine. I would call it like a two-path program. So you would kind of simulate how the tool would actually make its route, usually the most efficient route to cut a piece of metal, right? So with that simulation, you'll get a better idea of what potential kind of pitfalls or areas, like tricky problems that may occur, and you can make adjustments accordingly. So seeing that playing out is really helpful for beginners. So if you are a beginner and you have time, and I would definitely recommend doing the black and white study versus doing just a thumbnail sketch. So by doing a black and white piece, there are certain ideas that become apparent. Things like, oh, I can just lift the paint to subtract the castle, as versus having to work around it as I paint the sky. As well as, oh, I need to avoid the castle shape when I paint the hill behind it, and making sure to apply the shaded part of the hills while the hill area is still wet. These are the key kind of notions that you want as you're doing the small version, so that later on, these are the steps that you're going to take that will create the necessary soft and sharp edges on the painting. So in my case, my biggest learning from doing the black and white study is that this town that the castle overlooks on the lower right hand side needs to be much brighter. Otherwise, the light value will all concentrate on the left hand side of the painting, the castle itself. So there will be no place to kind of bounce your eyes off and strive for that balanced look. Now that we have done the thumbnail sketch as well as a black and white study piece, the final painting become easy peasy, right? Because you already know the steps you're gonna take. Compositionally, you feel confident, and all you need to do is just to execute. So start with wetting down the sky area, and in this case, I'm going to do just like a monochromatic sky color, leaving out some streaks of cloud to suggest it's a breezy day with soft, transparent clouds in the sky. And then immediately drag that color downwards by adding some of the green hues in the distance to suggest these are the valleys and hills stretching into the horizon. Having this soft horizon line really creates, less distraction for this like super strong dividing line, so that the only sharp edges is going to be preserved for the castle, so that the castle will in the end stand out more. As I do the study piece process, I also made a mental note that I will need to complete all of the greeneries in one go, including adding their shaded portions before it dries up, so that these greeneries can look lush and soft. Now, having done that, we have a very clear kind of like light value objects left out in the scene, which will be the castle itself, as well as these towns on the lower right side, which is exactly what we intended. Cool, so now we can go ahead and tackle the castle. When I have the green color already mixed, I'm gonna go ahead and apply the green portion underneath this castle, as well as on the rock itself. So that helps kind of bringing some of the background color into the foreground, and it helps making the castle feeling like it's part of the scene instead of feeling like it's on a separate plane. And then after that, I applied a very light burnt sienna tone to the rock surface. So that's the sunlit portion of the castle, which for the most part is white, but then adding a bit of like this beige cream color will make it more natural, and you can feel the warmth of the sun as well. Once everything is dried up roughly, we can go in with the large mid-tone to really bring out the shadow part for the castle, starting from the roof of the building, which will be a reddish brown color. And moving towards the bottom, it will actually transition into a lavender color. That is because the reason why this castle is called Liechtenstein, it means white rock or like light rock. The fact that it's built on a white rock is the key characteristic of the castle. That's why you see me like using the lavender color as versus a much darker shading color for the shaded part of this rock. So that in terms of value range, it's actually lighter than the green foliage in the distance. And of course, don't cover up the entire surface of the rock. I would leave out some like sunlight to suggest that the sun is bouncing off of different surfaces, maybe going through different trees and these architecture details, and still hit some portion on the rock. So with these mid-tone range pretty much blocked out, I think we're really approaching the finishing line here. All we need to do is add in some architecture details like these windows, the roof of the towers, to bring out the architectural feature of this castle. And to tie everything up together in the end, I added some more green foliage to the left-hand side of the painting. Okay, now here is the finished piece. As you can tell, the finished piece is only part of the process, right? So I'm hoping by really explaining the process, it really helped you kind of think about how you would go about approaching your next composition to make it more dynamic, more engaging, also executionally more successful. All right, so we are a wrap for the part 4 and the final part of our castle painting masterclass. I'm super grateful for you to have stuck around and learned throughout the whole process. Also hope that you have learned something new or feel excited that you can tackle this seemingly daunting task of painting architectures and buildings. And also let me know what else, what kind of other intensive courses I should be teaching next. All right, I look forward to seeing you guys around in this channel. Bye.